this guy here. Okay, there's no way he should be able to come to our group. But he's kind enough to come here. Cindy, I guess, sweet talks him on the phone. He's been around the world. He talks around the world. He was just up in Canada last week doing some talking to some churches and things like that. He's an author. He's got CDs and DVDs and books. He told me how that worked back there. So anyway, he'll come up here and give us his viewpoints on the Muslim world and over there in the Middle East. He's gonna stay after the meeting and chat with y'all and take a look at his stuff over here. So without further ado, Mr. Lipkin.
Presentation. By the way, before we start the presentation, how many people know that this is the Judeo-Christian holiday of Hanukkah? How many people have heard about Hanukkah? And I know a lot of you really don't know what Hanukkah is, other than 8 times more punishment than Christmas. Because the kids come every day and want, those 8 days, they want something, so it's not just one day of gifts. This is a very important holiday for Christians. I don't know if you know this or not, but Jesus visited the temple on Hanukkah. It's in John 10, verse 22. The Apostle Paul, all the apostles were at the temple in Jerusalem. Why is this important? Because the enemy in 165 BC was the Greeks. The Greeks were pagans. The Greeks tried to erase Judaism. There was no Christianity, there was no Jesus Christ at that time. They tried to erase Judaism from the face of the earth. Judaism was a very threatening system for the Greeks, very threatening for the Romans, because the Jews opposed slavery. For example, circumcision was banned. I think in America most boys are circumcised automatically in hospitals. Observing the Sabbath was forbidden. Teaching the Bible was forbidden. Doesn't that sound like the United States today? I'm not joking. The war against the Greek pagans, the Greek Syrians, in 165 BC was a war in which very, very few people defeated great armies that outnumbered them. They defeated the Greek army. It was a very big army at that time. And Jesus Christ came out of the victory of Hanukkah. Had the Jews been defeated by the Greeks, there would be no Jesus Christ. Do you understand why it's important for the Christians? And, as Jewish people, we have a saying, the rabbi, before he speaks, says, before I speak, I'd like to say a few words. And so I wanted to share something. I don't think I shared in Tyler. A lot of what I'm going to say today I shared in Tyler, but even more passionate. How many people know that I'm forming a Judeo-Christian political party to run for the Israeli elections? Okay, it's called the Bible Bloc Party. 8% of our population is Christian, 6% is Jewish, married to the Christians. So my potential constituency is 14%, which translated into 120 members of Knesset is 15 members of Knesset. So in Israel, it's not like Democrats versus Republicans or elected officials per district. In Israel, it's one list each party submits. And we have the 100 signatures. When I get back to Israel, we will submit the signatures for recognition in the Knesset. And the Bible Bloc Party of the Jews and Christians in Israel is going to start running for office. This is a very big thing. And so what I wanted to share is something that, I'm Jewish, so I can go to Protestants, and I can go to Catholics, and I can go to Orthodox Christians. I met with the Vatican ambassador in Israel. Now you have to remember something. I know a lot of people here don't like Catholics or the Catholic Church, whatever, and I'm not judging who's right and who's wrong in the theological debate between Protestants and Catholics. What I will say is that 8% of our population is Christian, meaning 4% are Catholic, 4% are Eastern Orthodox. Okay, we just don't got no white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. Okay, so you got to work with what you have. So I felt when I started working on the party, I needed to meet the Vatican ambassador. It's Catholic Archbishop by name of Pietro Sambi, who since has passed. But he shared with me something which is very important, and I share this in the churches. As the Vatican ambassador, he met with the Islamic leadership in Jerusalem. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but until 1964, the tour guides printed by the Islamic Waqf in the Kingdom of Jordan said that the Temple Mount, you all heard of the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, all this trouble that's going on about the Temple Mount, that this was the site of Solomon's temple, this was the site of Herod's temple, and this is where Jesus Christ visited. Are you with me? In other words, the Muslims recognized it. After 1964, Arafat came in and said, you know what, we're going to revise history. There was never a temple. And the United Nations came out and said there's never a temple. In other words, the United Nations is revising, distorting the history, perverting the history. So they asked the Catholic ambassador, what do you say? Was there a temple or was there no temple? And he answered them, he didn't want to answer them because he didn't want polemics, theological polemics. He said, you know, if there was never a temple, where did Jesus overturn the money changers' tables? At the temple. Where did Jesus go on Hanukkah? John 10:22. And where did Jesus have his bar mitzvah? Remember Left Behind? His parents left him behind. That was at the temple in Jerusalem. The apostles were at the temple in Jerusalem. And you know, there's a joke, I don't know if I shared it when I was in Tyler, and did I share the joke about the difference between neurotic people and psychotic people? I'll do it at the end of the message. But I'll just give one line. Neurotic people dream about castles in the air. Psychotic people live in castles in the air. And psychiatrists collect the rent. Okay, I'll tell you the joke at the end of the message. But the point I'm saying is anyone who denies the existence of the temple is psychotic. So let me ask you a question. Will there be a Palestinian state? The answer is no, because you're dealing with psychotic people. So the victory of Hanukkah is very important for every Jew and every Christian. And especially today in the United States, every Christian needs to pay attention to the message of Hanukkah because it's your holiday too. Not only Christmas, Hanukkah also. Now, the actual ceremony of the lighting of the candles goes like this. When the Maccabees liberated the temple, and you know, the Greeks brought in pigs and they brought in idols and they defiled the temple, did all kinds of sexual acts of immorality, which was the religion of that time. So the Maccabees came in and of course, they cleaned everything up and they washed the floors and they made everything clean again. And to light the menorah, they needed a special type of oil that was sanctified, and they only found one cruse. One cruse of oil was good for one day. So the miracle of Hanukkah is that until the 8th day, that one cruse lasted 8 days. So the tradition is we light on the first night, which was last night, we light one candle, and we use the middle one as the shamash, or the lighter of the other 8. And at the end of the 8 days, all 8 candles are lit up. So it's a very special holiday. It's a happy holiday. It's not good for people whose wives don't want us to eat donuts, but that's what we do on Hanukkah. So I will light the candles and recite the blessing. Now, last night we said 3 blessings. Tonight, and all the other nights, we only recite 2. I'll tell you the 3 so you know. The one which we don't say tonight is, Blessed art thou, Lord our God, who has given us life, who has maintained us, and who has brought us to this day. In other words, the Jewish people have been around 4,000 years. That's a big deal. What we do say tonight is, Blessed art thou, Lord our God, who has commanded us to light the Hanukkah candles. And the second one is, Blessed art thou, Lord our God, who did miracles for our forefathers and for us. And I think part of the history of the United States is miracles too. And also on December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day, it's a day very dear to me. I grew up in Victory at Sea, you know, so for me, Pearl Harbor is very alive. I live in Israel, but I'm still very American. Maybe more so than ever. So we light the shamash. I don't smoke, so I don't have the matches for smoke. Okay. So we take the middle one, and like I said, we go from this side all the way across. And tomorrow will be 3, the next night is 4, 5, until we have all of them. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadik ner she'el Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim la'avoteinu, bayamim hahem ba'azman hazeh. So good to say amen. Okay, so then we just moisten that a little bit and put it in here. Thank God for Mardel. I didn't have it from Israel. I went to Mardell's, they had it. Okay, so now we do the message. And I thank Mike for giving me 3 hours tonight.